everybody. This is Cara Nicole, and we are back again for another week of Nerds at the Round Table. We're here at Gotham City Comics and Coffee with our lovely other owner, Miguel.
That's me.
And our great new guest, Ben Glen Denning. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ben?
About myself? Well, I'm an Arizona local here, and I've been self-publishing since high school, which goes back quite a few years. I do a lot of sketch cards, a lot of self-published comics. Tin Star Text is actually one of mine that I'm currently doing, and we'll have new ones at Phoenix Comic Con. But sketch cards, I've done Marvel, DC, the Spirit movie, things like that. Doing that for quite a few years.
Awesome. Well, great. So let's get started here today. And first, I want to touch on this Gearhart Steampunk Glamour review. Now, this is just a compilation of some short stories and some cosplayer interviews. There's some photographs and some writer interviews, I believe. So this is definitely something to pick up and take a look at. Did you guys both take a look at this?
I took a look at it, and it is definitely it's something different that you really never see magazines do, or comic book in general, of focusing on cosplayers, and more specifically, steampunk cosplayers.
And there's boobies.
Yeah, of course. What I found interesting is that even in the comic community, a lot of people don't fully understand the steampunk movement. So to have something like this as a resource is just kind of interesting.
I agree. So that's that. Pick it up at your local comic book store or Gotham City Comics and Coffee. Now, Ben, what did you read for us this week?
I read from IDW Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, which they've now got 2 different titles that kind of cover the whole universe of Transformers. This one has Rodimus Prime and his crew kind of on a quest, and it's just very different because, you know what, and I can't even think of the writer's name offhand. It's James Roberts and Alex Milne. And they do a really good job. The art is actually really, really good. It actually looks like they're alive instead of really kind of dry stuff they've had before. And then the writing style has this, they're kind of blurring, there's no more evil and good, there's just gray areas finally. And it's kind of interesting to see that. And then the scripting is just like, it's like Joss Whedon does Transformers. It's just kind of interesting that way. There's the banter and the characterizations are just like, killer. It's kind of interesting.
Well, I really liked that they had emotion and they have feelings. There was one scene in there where he's saying, he's hurting me. You know, you're hurting me. And you think of them, they're robots, but you're hurting me. And there was actual emotion in their face. So I really liked that, and I have to agree with you on the art and the way that the writing was put together.
I think one of the best things that they're doing with the new Transformer stuff is they're not having it jumbled by all the past continuity that has gone on in all the other books, where there hasn't been any kind of continuity or timeline. It's just been in different time periods of all the Transformer stuff, so you never know what's actually worth reading.
And what's nice too is this is only the 3rd issue in, and they're already building onto a lot of different new mythology, like the Spark Eaters and things like this.
Oh, Spark
I'll leave
Eaters.
that for you guys to read, but there's just some interesting nuances in mythology they're putting into it.
Now, I read Saga. This interested me. I'm glad I picked it up. This you must be 18 or older to read. I did like the art. I thought that the art was very well done, and there's a baby breastfeeding on the cover. This story is actually done from the point of view of this child. So I thought that was very interesting. You open it up, and you're in shock. She's giving birth. And this baby, she talks about her parents. She's watching her parents. But you're seeing it sort of, it was interesting. It was like sort of through her perspective.
Yeah.
These are my parents. This is my family. I saw a lot of social nuances in it. A lot of things you would see people in public saying, the way that they feel about this, a lot of, I don't want to use the word propaganda, but I guess I see a lot of people say, I'm different, I'm not like everybody, but they're all the same people doing it.
Yeah, the box, or the book has its own soapbox that it's on.
Yeah, it does. But it's a very interesting story. I would definitely pick it up again. It's very busy. You're not going to feel disappointed by putting your money on this.
For myself, I'm not really gravitated towards those type of stories, although it did start out really kind of interesting and everything, and it kind of was building on itself kind of in a natural way. and then it just kind of took a twist in this, and it kind of went overboard. It just kind of, it jumped the shark for me.
It jumped the shark already?
It did, right in like mid-issue, actually.
Okay,
It
Miguel?
kind of jumped for me.
I gotta go with Ben. It just really wasn't feeling it. Breastfeeding on the cover kind of disturbed me a little too.
You know what it is?
Kind of awkward. It's
And
kind of awkward on the cover.
From a writing standpoint, it just seemed like there was conflicting ideas. Like he's just trying to throw everything in there, and they just kind of conflicted against each other.
See, and I agree with you both, but I think I will give it a chance. This is the first issue, so let's see what we got going on a little bit more in the future. All right, Miguel.
I read Batman and Robin issue number 7. This ends the first story arc in this book, which has actually been my favorite of the Bat titles. It's been probably the lesser known one out of them all, I think, next to Detective, but my whole thing of it is I've always been a Batman and Robin fan. Batman has always needed Robin. There's always that balance of the light and the dark.
Right.
Always a great dynamic. But now it's even more interesting because now it's Bruce and Damian, his actual legitimate son. It's not his ward or an adopted son. It's actually his son. So there is a lot more caring in Batman. There's that extra, because before it's, yes, he's still...
Added to that, though, there's more frustration from his
yes, because...
which is, that's where I find it interesting.
Oh, yeah, because he doesn't have control over Damian. Damian's not following every little thing that Batman says because...
A child follow his parents' every wish and whim?
I couldn't imagine raising a 10-year-old that has been trained by the League of Assassins to kill people.
See, and I hadn't kept up on it, but when I saw Damian, I'm like, wow, what is he, 4? And you're like, he's 10. I'm like, oh. So that's, you know, he's a child, and he really is a child, and he's dealing with adult issues and adult situations.
Oh, yes, and this story arc in particular has a lot of Batman's past in it, because someone from his past where he was learning to become Batman has come back and wants to seek revenge on Batman by trying to get Damian to betray Batman. And throughout the first 6 issues, he works Damian like no other. The character's name is Nobody, which has some really cool sonic powers. It's his outfit, some really cool stuff in there. For the first 6 issues, you honestly think that Robin, by the end of issue 6, you don't know really where he stands, but issue 7, it's Batman, just his drive to save his son, because all he is hearing over Damian's little comlink is this character Nobody saying, I'm going to make your son's heart explode. You hear there's fingers breaking right now, and you see the drive in Batman to where Batman's stabbed multiple times at this guy.
Which I found that as kind of being an odd moment, because they're almost playing on the Jason Todd continuity.
Yes.
But yet it's New 52, so that continuity doesn't exist. So
Well,
there's some kind of interesting...
With it being his child, that is so much more different than his ward or, like you said, his sidekick in any way. There is a very interesting surprise ending.
Oh, giant...
We're not going to say anything.
No spoiler alerts, but the ending is something that you have not seen a Robin do. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, and this is one of those that I definitely recommend. Come get all 6. Start from the beginning of this line. Read it all up. Real quick, we're going to touch on Peter Panzerhaust. And this is like Peter Pan in Nazi Germany. It's flying off the shelves, right?
Oh, yeah. Issue 1, there's a second printing already. And for a small press, I mean, even though it is an image book...
Yeah, but it's Shadowline, and Shadowline is known for really taking some risks on material.
Oh, and on independent books, Jim Valentino's line, he's
always
been more of the underground feel of things.
Right.
And going not so mainstream.
Well, I definitely recommend picking it up. It's flying off the shelf, so good luck finding it. I'm sure if you call over here at Gotham City Comics and Coffee, they'll hook you up best they can. And I think that's all we have here for today. So we want to say thank you to Ben Glendenning, and thank you to Miguel at Gotham City Comics and Coffee, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Hello, I am Benjamin Glendenning, a local artist here in Arizona, and I work on a lot of different independent comic books, and I will have Tin Star Text Wayward Son #1 available at Phoenix Comic Con 2012. And this here is just a preview of the original issue that I put out, which is extremely rare, but you'll get Wayward Son #1 at Phoenix Comic Con.